Cliff here from Cliff Dive Into Movies, and in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 things that I noticed watching the original Planet of the Apes movies. Number 1, the date. Now, for those of you who don't watch movies with a calculator at hand, or for those of you who aren't very good at figuring out dates, they start off in 1972 and they end up in 3978, which is 2006 years in the future. One thing that I always thought was interesting was exactly how long was this flight supposed to be? Because they mention when they wake up that Stewart has been dead for a year, and Landon says, oh, that means we've been gone for 18 months. And in the beginning of the movie, they'd already been gone for 6 months. So this is not an observation, but more of a theory that I've always thought that their flight was supposed to be a year, and it was some sort of a test flight, and then they were supposed to come back, which would make sense because it would be 6 months awake with food supplies and then 6 months in hibernation, test to see how much food or what would be better or what combination of food and stuff. Number 2, cigars. I don't think this was an intentional bit of symbolism. I think it was just more of a product of its time. But every time a character is in charge, they're smoking a cigar. The first time is when Taylor is given his final log and he's put the crew to bed. And the second time is when he's on the new alien planet and he's clearly in charge of Dodge and Landon, although he's horrible to Landon the whole time. The second time is when Dr. Zaius is relaxing after the trial and he brings Taylor in, and it's the, I'll tell you what you want, you give me what I want, and I'll give you what you want. And the third time is when Lucius goes to break out Taylor. Julius is sitting there with the cigar. Now that one I know I can't find it, but I remembered reading an interview of where the guy that played Julius, but Cartelan, I believe his name was, he wasn't supposed to be smoking a cigar, but he thought that Julius should be doing something, and he thought that that was more interesting. Number 3, exactly what is in the backpacks. Dodge's, it's mentioned that he has a Geiger counter and he has sensors, but it's never specifically stated what the sensors are. Taylor has 2 backpacks, and you see that there's 1 pistol, 20 rounds of ammunition, a medical kit, a camera, and TX9, although I still have no idea what TX9 is. And he also says that there's food and water for 3 days. You can also see that there's 2 walkie-talkies, looks like a rope, one sort of hammer or a pick thing, and I think what's a tarp that's got like 4 stake pegs in it. One thing that's always bothered me is was 4 people in the crew, but there's 3 backpacks. Also, there's only 2 walkie-talkies, and there's 3 people. Originally, there was 4, so did they not take Stewart's backpack? Or did Stewart not have a backpack? Number 4, some humans actually escape the hunt. If you pay close attention, the apes more or less just concentrate on the cornfield. In the background, you can see that humans have made it on the other side of the cornfield or going back towards their homeland. And you don't see any apes anywhere in that background. It's always just humans. So the apes are more or less just concentrating on the cornfield and aren't actually chasing them away. Number 5, the death toll after the hunt. After the hunt, on camera anyway, you see that there's 2 wagons. Now, let's assume that those 2 wagons are full. Later on in the trial, they have 1 wagon, and they say that it's all the humans that are still alive from the hunt. It's 5 men and 3 women, which is 8, and then Taylor would be 9. So that means they only have 9 humans left from the hunt, but there was 2 wagons, which means, was there 18, 20 humans that were left, and now they only have half of them? And also, they say that that was all the humans, but are they counting the kid? Because in the earlier, you see that they captured a kid. So did they kill the kid, or is the kid still alive? And what are they doing with all the humans where they kill half the humans that they captured? Number 6, Landon. The second time that we're shown Zira and Cornelius when they're outside talking in front of the cage that Nova and Taylor are in, when Dr. Zaius comes along, Zira makes a comment that he's been upset and that he's been prying around the laboratory for the last couple of days. Could that be because he's got a talking human that he's got to deal with? And of course, we all know how he dealt with that problem. Number 7, no women. Have you ever noticed in the facility that they're holding Taylor in? There's no women in there. The cells are either empty or there's just a single guy in the cell. There's no women. And in fact, they make a point of showing that they brought Nova in for Taylor from some other facility. And also, did you notice that in the beginning of the movie, when Nova's mixed in with the human crowd she's eating, and then later on, when she's being introduced to Taylor, she's also eating. Number 8, Taylor and Nova. When we're first introduced to Nova, she's mixed in with the humans right before the hunt. During the hunt, her and Taylor have a very brief encounter. After the hunt, Taylor needs a blood transfusion, so they use Nova as the blood source, and then they decide that they want to mate Nova and Taylor. Um, so he's spending his nights with her. So you would think that he would be pretty nice to her, but no, he is not. The scene where he's writing, he can write. Nova comes along, covers it up because she realizes that that's dangerous. He shouldn't be writing. How's he respond with that? He tosses her off to the side. So they haul him off because he gets into a fight. And in the background, you can see that when they pull him away and take him out of the cage, she goes to the back of the cage by the door and is ready to go with him because in her mind, they've bonded. Um, Even though Taylor's spending his nights with her and, probably doing adult things, at the very first opportunity to escape, he just leaves her. He doesn't take her at all, and she's just standing there like, why aren't you taking me? Later on, they put him in two different cages, and he's not with her anymore. And then he realizes, oh, maybe I do like you. So then the second opportunity that he has to escape, he takes her with him because he's come around. He's now a better person. And, they go off, ride a horse, go off in the sunset, and, live, well, yeah, we know how that goes. On a side note, you never see Taylor kiss Nova. However, you do see him kiss Zira. Number 9, the orange. Two guards are sent to get Taylor because Dr. Zayas has a plan to, he has a special operation in store for Taylor, let's just say. The guard on the left, in the long shot, has a club in his right hand and his left hand is empty. Then, in the close up shot, his left hand, he has an orange and his right hand is empty. Number 10, the museum. For a society that doesn't like humans, I find it odd that their museum contains nothing but dioramas of humans. And the humans are either eating or they're attacking each other or it's some combination of both. But I find it weird that it doesn't feature any other animals. And what's with the sculptures? There's a giant bird claw, and then there's a skull that looks like it's some sort of, I don't know, triceratops lizard. But you don't see, like, what those creatures would look like alive, so are those statues or artwork, or what exactly are those things?